Let me tell you something that life eventually forces everyone to understand. You think you have friends, but wait until you're broke. Wait until you fail. Wait until you make a decision that no longer benefits them. Then look around. That is when you finally see who was real and who was simply passing time with you. This world is transactional, and people support you as long as you fit their convenience. The moment you stop serving their emotional or practical purpose, they disappear like smoke. It's not personal, it's the nature of human beings. If you don't learn this early, life will teach you painfully. When you're down, no one comes. When you're confused, people laugh behind closed doors. When you dream loudly, they doubt you. But the moment you rise, suddenly everyone remembers your name. That's not friendship, that's opportunity dressed as loyalty. So be cautious. Don't open your heart to everyone. Don't share your plans with just anybody. Don't expect support when you're building something meaningful. Learn to be your own friend. Learn to cheer for yourself in silence, because the day you stop depending on others is the day you begin to become powerful. Work quietly. Move with discipline. Let success speak so loudly that it silences every doubt. And always remember, walking alone with peace is better than walking with people who pretend to care. Be observant, be sharp, and be careful. A harsh truth rarely spoken out loud is this: people are primarily concerned with themselves. Everyone is chasing something: money, status, validation, control, stability. And in that chase, the emotions, needs, and struggles of others often fall to the background. No matter how close someone seems, life will eventually show you that when things get complicated, most people will choose themselves first. This is not betrayal, it is human nature. We grow up believing friendships will last forever, that people will hold our hands in storms just like they do in sunshine. But as life tests you, the truth begins to reveal itself slowly. Your phone rings less when you're going through something. People check in only when it's convenient, not when you're truly breaking. When you're winning, they want to be beside you. When you stumble, they become distant. It's not that everyone is bad. It's that everyone is busy fighting their own unseen battles. Recognizing that the world is self-centered doesn't mean you become bitter. It means you become wise. You stop expecting people to carry your weight. Instead, you build the strength to lift yourself. You learn that no one is coming to save you, so you stop waiting. You stop hoping someone else will push you, encourage you, or believe in you. You begin to rely on the only person who has never left you: yourself. Learning to stand alone is not weakness. It is one of the greatest forms of power. When you're alone, you become emotionally independent. Your happiness no longer belongs to someone else's actions or validation. Your dreams no longer shrink to fit someone else's comfort zone. You become your own coach, your own motivator, your own protector. And in a world that revolves around self-interest, independence becomes your strongest shield. People cannot manipulate you when you don't need them. They cannot guilt-trip you when your emotions are not tied to their approval. They cannot control you when the leash of dependency has been cut. Standing alone gives you freedom. Freedom to think clearly, to move in silence, to execute without seeking permission. This world respects results, not potential. It celebrates outcomes, not effort. If you expect empathy to fuel your journey, you will be disappointed. Most people will not understand your path, and they don't need to. The world claps only after you win, never while you're struggling. That's why you must keep walking whether they support you or not. You will realize that the path meant for you will sometimes demand loneliness. You will need to walk roads that make sense only to your soul. You will need to be okay with being misunderstood. You will need to be at peace with silence. Because silence is where strength is built. The sooner you stop expecting others to meet your emotional needs, the sooner you take back the power that was always yours. When you accept that most people are temporary, you begin to live without fear of losing them. When you stop relying on others for direction, your inner vision finally awakens. That is how leaders are formed. That is how character is built. Not through applause, but through endurance. One of life's strangest lessons is this: the more successful you become, the fewer real friends you will have. You'd think success creates more support, but often it does the opposite. When you start rising, The energy around you shifts, not with words, but with silence, with distance, with subtle changes in tone. When you're struggling, people feel comfortable. They relate to your suffering. You pose no threat. But when you start breaking your limits, when you refuse excuses, when you chase excellence, some people begin to feel threatened. Jealousy creeps in quietly. Your success becomes a mirror that reflects their stagnation. Suddenly, invitations stop coming, messages slow down, conversations that once flowed now feel forced. The smiles remain, but the warmth disappears. People who once said you got this now say don't change. They liked you better when you were not evolving. Some friendships are built on shared struggle, not real connection. As long as you're stuck together, the bond feels strong. But once you grow, once you move forward, the thread unravels. What you thought was loyalty was simply familiarity. Your growth reminds them of what they haven't done. And though your success is not an attack, they take it personally. That is why success often feels lonely, not because people vanish suddenly, but because their inner feelings shift. They stop supporting, not openly, but quietly. They don't cheer the way they once did. Their silence becomes the loudest truth. And what hurts the most is realizing that some of your happiest memories were shared with people who cannot walk into your future. But this is the price of growth. Success demands emotional maturity, and sometimes maturity requires letting go. As you rise, you will also see another truth. Most people support you only when you don't need the support anymore. They ignore you when you're struggling, but celebrate you when you're strong. They overlook you when you're begging for opportunities, but ask to join you once you create your own. When you're desperate, the doors stay closed. But when you build your own door, people suddenly want to come in. Strength attracts people. Struggle repels them. People are drawn to confidence, to certainty, to what looks like it cannot be broken. When you appear strong, suddenly your phone rings more. Invitations increase. You become visible, not because you changed, but because strength makes you valuable in the eyes of society. Trust is another misunderstood concept. Most people trust based on feelings, not patterns. They trust someone because they feel close to them, not because that person has proven anything. But trust is built in difficult moments, not easy ones. You learn someone's true character when you're vulnerable, when you're failing, when you're no longer providing benefit. Do they stay? Do they respect you? Do they protect what you shared in confidence? Anyone can be kind when they want something. Anyone can pretend to care in convenient moments. But real trust is built through repeated actions that require effort, patience, and loyalty. People often trust too quickly and then call it betrayal when the truth appears. But trust was not broken, it was built too fast. And then comes solitude. People fear being alone because they misunderstand it. Solitude is not emptiness, it is clarity. It exposes you to yourself, it removes the influence of others, it forces you to confront your strengths, weaknesses, and patterns. Most people fear solitude because they fear their own reflection. But the moment you embrace it, everything changes. Your confidence rises. Your thinking sharpens. You stop chasing people. You stop craving validation. You stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You walk differently. You breathe differently. You move with power. Because when you know who you are, the world cannot shake you. Life becomes peaceful when you stop expecting loyalty from a world built on convenience. It becomes powerful when you stop handing your heart to people who haven't earned the right to touch it. It becomes simple when you realize that the only person who will walk with you from the first day of your life to the last is the one in the mirror. Strengthen that person. Honor that person. Trust that person. Because when you build yourself from the inside, no betrayal, no loneliness, no silence, and no abandonment can break you again. If this message connected with your heart, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment to support Daily Path to Strength. Your engagement helps us reach more people who need this truth.